So sometimes it takes some time for us to really hear the message of non-duality. It takes time for it to land, so to speak. It doesn't necessarily need to take time, because the message in itself is timeless. So when you really hear it, that's it. Without time, there is no journey. There's no journey to immediacy. That's the end of the graduated path. The path that is going somewhere. The path that is trying to accomplish something. Because what is right now, right here, is complete. It's pure completeness. And what is right now, right here, is what you are. So there is nothing wrong in you. There's nothing wrong in the way you are. No matter how your experience looks like or feels like at the moment, it cannot be anything other than this natural perfection. It cannot. So any attempt to work on yourself so that there would be wholeness, any idea of applying a remedy to your experience so that it would transform and be more integrated, more unified. So all of that is the graduated path, the path in time, the path where there is a possibility of such a process. And there's nothing wrong with that path, but ultimately where it's gonna lead is into a kind of deep disillusionment, deep but very simple disillusionment. You kind of see that this whole improvement project is just going nowhere, so to speak. And that implies a very viscerally felt realization, that there's nothing you can do. There's nothing you can do because there's no possibility for reality ever to be anything other than it already is. And what it is completeness, is natural perfection. So that's the nature of the mind. That's your true nature. So this is really, I think, the most important message that a teacher can transmit. At least for me, it has been. I needed to hear that. Spoken from that place where it is a living realization. That there's nothing wrong in what I am. Because at least for me, this very deep-rooted sense of unworthiness and self-judgment is not something, that non-dual insight in itself would have just cleared out, so to speak. Because it's not just a matter of clear seeing. I think it's a deep wounding in the Western psyche. This core wound of unworthiness. And there's something really mysterious about it. Because it can be there after profound awakening shifts, even after no self-realization, which doesn't really make sense, right? How could there be self-judgment or unworthiness if it's clearly seen that there's no any kind of self in the experience? And yet that can appear. So at least for me, it's not something that any kind of non-dual inquiry would have been able to address. And it's only something that what I call redemptive love was able to address, not even addressed. It's the whole unworthiness in itself is this core wound. It's like an initiation to redemptive love. So it's, in that sense, it's a kind of a mystical journey. And it brings tremendous, vitality to this awakening journey, I think. And for me, this redemptive love is very much what is referred to as natural perfection, or the great perfection, which is a realization of the nature of mind, realization of primordial innocence. Realization which is then familiarized so thoroughly, that it replaces the paradigm of identity formed around the core wound of unworthiness and wrongness, fundamental wrongness. So what is this primordial innocence or primordial purity? So how it feels like is as if an unimaginable radiance, but not the kind of radiance you can perceive with physical eyes, even though the visual field in itself will become very vivid and luminous when this lived recognition takes place. But yeah, it's as if this kind of unimaginable radiance breaks through from within and clears this mental space. And it has this natural clarity, simplicity. And it's total freedom, total instant freedom, not caused by anything. It's acausal. Nothing can be done to generate that because it's always already the case. So this act of breakthrough, what I call breakthrough, that in itself is also a very natural phenomena. When we rest in the nature of the mind, it will kind of intensify, you could say, the natural awareness in the experience. Just doing nothing, just kind of consciously doing nothing. So there will be this intensification, which will then take the form of breakthrough, and then this whole experience of the body, mind, and karmas and conditioning, it's like refreshed, it's refreshed by this otherworldly, immaculate blossoming. This unconditioned nature of reality. So our habitual mind is then loosened, is suffused by this pervasion of timelessness, of perfection. And this is the life of realization. This is the life of realization. Like this awake nature, it breaks through to itself again and again and again. It's like it discovers itself afresh again and again and again. And it cannot help but do that. It's not something that you could ever lose. It's not something you could ever find. Like you are this great perfection. You are this natural perfection. Nothing needs to change. And its innate nature is this capacity to clear the sky, so to speak, to pierce through the mental events, whatever they are, with this otherworldly radiance and warmth and organic responsiveness and spontaneity. But it's totally effortless the way it does it. And it's redeeming instantly. The whole of manifestation, when it does that, is instant redemption. Absence of fundamental wrongness in yourself, in reality, which are seen to be identical, literally identical. So when we stabilize or familiarize with the nature of the mind, this kind of natural confidence will arise. This natural confidence in what I was just describing, that this is just the nature of the mind. It has this dynamic capacity to be anything whatsoever, at the same time being nothing at all. Like all phenomena, whether it's obscuration or revelation, all phenomena is grounded on the nature of the mind, on this basic clarity, this basic knowing nature. But we can never really say what it is. We can never perceive it. It's not an object of perception. It's not a subject of perception. It's completely non-dual. Completely non-dual. There's awareness, there's full awareness, but there's nothing particular or concrete to be aware of. So it's impossible to talk about that. So that's all there is to it. Just recognize that. Recognize that. And then explore, explore the experience. Look at the thoughts. Look at emotion. Everything has that fundamental sameness to it. And that fundamental sameness is the nature of the mind. It's that knowing quality, but it's not knowing of anything particular. It's not knowing of something. There's no duality there. So knowing is like this illuminating quality. But we cannot say what it is that is being illuminated. It's ungraspable like that, undefinable. It's absent yet appearing. Absent yet appearing constantly. And that's the nature of everything. It's absent of any fixed or definable or objectifiable reality or subjective reality even. Is absent, yet it's appearing. Absent yet present. Beyond this duality of absence and presence, both and neither, simultaneously. And you have to drop the intellect for this to kind of shine naturally forth. So this is nothing that the intellect can grasp. Even the most refined form of intellectual and intuitive understanding, it's never gonna touch this. It's never gonna see this. It's never gonna comprehend this. Yeah, we call it remembrance, kind of. So when you hear someone speaking about this, like from this place, there can be this resonance, a kind of remembrance. Because you already know this deep inside. Like the nature of the mind is awakeness, is lucidity, it's knowingness. And it's such a paradoxical situation. Like you will never be able to really put it in words or explain it in words in a satisfying manner. And you don't have to. What really matters on this path, on this no path, is taking refuge in this, what I was just talking about. So first experientially recognizing it and familiarizing with that recognition very, very thoroughly and intimately and in an all-encompassing manner. So that this natural confidence arises, trusts. And that's it. So that's something that is beyond the security of identity, beyond the paradigm of safety that the identity is fixating on. Is this taking refuge in the true nature, taking refuge in the nature of the mind experientially. So that this kind of timeless continuity appears. You can't really locate the beginning of the recognition. It's not really in this life. Because this hasn't been born, it cannot die. So the recognition is completely timeless. It liberates you from time. But it needs to be experientially refreshed again and again and again, like I was talking in the beginning of the video. So this timeless spontaneity it kind of breaks through and suffuses the karmic mind and the body mind again and again and again. And everything is becoming so transparent. There's no solidity, no substantiality whatsoever. Even these very subtle forms of solidification that can take place, kind of subtle, elusive forms of fixation that can be very intense, it breaks through them. And it's very natural, this process.